Hello, everyone. I'm calm, cool, and collected today, but that has not been the case for much of this week. I have been in a state of the most horrible peak with my New Orleans Saints. This week, they go and sign Derek Carr from the Raiders to a $150 million 4-year contract to be QB1 of the Saints. Now, many of us in Saints Nation are kind of scratching our head about that because we say, okay, didn't Derek Carr get benched this past season in Las Vegas? Well, yes, he did. But, there's reasons for that, It wasn't because he's such a terrible quarterback. It's because he had a terrible coach. Josh McDaniels does not know what he's doing. It was dumb of him to sit Derek Carr, yada, 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 yada. The reason how come Derek Carr, being the quarterback that he is, being as good as he is, hasn't had the success that he might otherwise have had is because, the Raiders, they've been so up in the air. It's different coaches, different offensive coordinators. He never had any kind of stability while he was there. I also have some questions in me about the 2014 Raiders coaching staff. The last year, Dennis Allen was head coach of the Raiders, finding their way into coaching roles on the 2023 Saints. I have seen, and so have you, I have seen Dennis Allen make decisions that harken back to ones he made earlier. Case in point, the way he dealt with Terrell Pryor. If you go back and look at it, he dealt with Jameis Winston the exact same way, with the exact same situations. Now he's gone back and reached out to some of his 2014 Raiders staff and bought them here on the Saints. Okay. Experience tells you that if you've done something one way once, that the next time you come to that situation is probably a good idea to go in a different direction. But that's not Dennis Allen. Now, after I somewhat get over my peak about Derek Carr being bought to the Saints and being so mad about it that I done forgot what day of the week it was, I hear that now the Saints have decided to restructure Jameis Winston's contract because, of course, they can't pay him $15-16 million to be a backup, right? But they have offered Jameis Winston a restructured contract and pretty much told him to sign it or else. I've been angry all season long about how Dennis Allen has chosen to deal with Jameis Winston. First, you slap the man in the face by telling him the lie that he won't lose his job because he got injured. Then, you kick him to the ground by letting him know that he's not going to start another game or even play in another game during the 22 season. And then now you come to him with a restructured contract and you freaking hold a gun to his head while he's down on the ground and tell him to sign it, accept it, or else. Now, I've gotten really, really sick of people, some of them Saints fans, and yes, I said that with a sneer, that want to bring up, oh, Jameis throws too many interceptions. The way they talk and the way these talking heads talk, they'd make you believe that Jameis Winston threw 30 interceptions every single year he was in the league, which is not true, and they ought to be ashamed of themselves toting around brains as lazy as that. There's a gentleman who calls himself Jameis One of One, who seems to have great insight into Jameis Winston's thinking and into Jameis Winston's character. He says that Jameis Winston is the kind of fellow who's loyal to a fault. The Saints want this done now. Because if Jameis doesn't accept the contract and they let him go immediately, then that $15-16 million that would have been going to his salary will not be accessible to them until June. By that time, all that will be left in free agency is dregs. So they want that money to be able to go out in free agency and put some more pieces here on this team that we definitely need. As it is, if they did let him go, and they wouldn't have access to that money until June, Jameis is still a $4.4 million cap hit. Jerry Poor Jr., I know you're listening. Please do correct me if I'm wrong about this. But I suspect that the contract that they're offering Jameis Winston is equivalent to that cap hit. Jameis Winston, I have said that what he should do is turn around, say deuces, and get the HE double hockey sticks out of New Orleans on the first thing smoking, even if it's a Tonka truck. I am to the point to where I think I'm having to modify my thinking on that. And here's why. Jameis Winston is at his lowest point in life since he came out of the womb. It's possible maybe even probable, that he doesn't have many options to go anywhere else and start. Being that as it may, I believe that what Jameis Winston will do is sign the funky contract and stay there with the Saints, even after the totally blatant disrespect that they have shown him all year. I believe that these last 2 years that he's been sat down, he's had some time to evaluate and reevaluate things both outside himself and within himself. And I believe he'll come through this stronger. And he will stand. I sometimes see things a little differently than other people do. And I do my best to live by the adage that what you do will come back to you. I believe wholeheartedly that the way the Saints and Dennis Allen have treated Jameis Winston will come back to bite them on their butts. Karma is a mug, you know that? The Saints created karma for themselves with their treatment of Jimmy Graham. Have you noticed that we haven't even sniffed a dog tight end since Jimmy Graham? Now, you can call that karma or business or whatever you want to. I know how I see it. And I'm not at all certain that the Saints are not creating karma with Jameis Winston. And that karma will make itself felt this season. Yes, we've gone through a rash of injuries these last 2-3 years on the Saints. A lot of teams on the NFL have. I mean, injuries is a part of this game. Now, wouldn't it be funny if Derek Carr goes down and all the Saints have to rely on is Jameis Winston? Now, there could be, a few scenarios with that. Say Derek Carr goes down and all you got is Jameis Winston. Well, I believe Dennis Allen is so opposed to this man that he would go out and get another free agent quarterback to put in front of Jameis Winston. I believe that wholeheartedly. But if he does that and he fails, he's out of here. Like Jameis Winston knows that his options are severely limited, Dennis Allen also knows that his butt is on the hot seat. You got your own people here now. You went and got the quarterback that you wanted. So there's no excuse for you not to succeed. But with the already previously failed Raider coaching staff members that have come to the Saints along with the failed Raider head coach who's now coach of the Saints, you know what insanity is? It's doing something the same way every time and expecting a different result. The 2014 Raiders have now been transplanted into New Orleans and they've become the 2023 Saints. Oh, the names have changed, but you best believe. I love the Saints. I want them to succeed. Sometimes I question if I want them to succeed as much as I want Dennis Allen gone. Still a question. We will see. It's a mess, I tell you. It's a mess. We still got Dennis and Pete, which means we still gonna see vanilla offense, conservative, scared coaching and play calling. We still gonna see it. Welcome to the bad old days, Saints fans.